I think one of them had the COVID, but mild case.
Good.
What about you? You and Jean been?
I got it. I got it at the when we got to the airport. We didn't get our CVS test back in time. We were going to go to Portugal and Germany. So on November 21st, we go to the airport. Our CVS tests weren't back, so we went and they tested us at the airport. I was positive, and I know exactly where I got it. I was helping the Avon Lake Kids Orchestra and Chorus out, and I was there for 3 hours. They weren't masked. I got cocky. I wasn't masked. I've been boosted. I'm not. Got cocky. How about you guys? You say?
We live a careful life. We have not gone to a restaurant for this entire time.
Yeah, we haven't
We
either.
went to a movie. We went to 2 movies. We went during Browns Days. So there's nobody in the theater.
Nobody's going to be in the theater.
Very few. We went out to Sugar and Falls to see the Bond on a Sunday during the Browns Days. And there were 11 people counting us.
That's what you
And
want.
there was people sitting behind us. So as soon as everything got organized, we just moved because we just found a nice.
Find another nice cozy place, right?
It didn't matter. So we did that, and we saw that amazing documentary/movie about the rescue of those kids that were trapped in Thailand.
In Thailand, the boys.
Oh, what a movie!
Oh, that would be good to see. Yeah, I'd love to see.
I mean, it might be in my top 5 of all time.
Wow, that says
And it's
a
kind
lot.
of like a movie, but not.
Oh.
But it's the story and the problems they had to overcome and solve.
That is so cool.
What was it? 3,400 people aided in this rescue. I mean, the military and the.
I remember it was.
They're trying. It's monsoon with the winds and the rain, and they're trying to prevent rain from going into the cavern. So
Unbelievable.
thousands of people in the mountains putting up sticks and piles of stuff to divert the water.
Was it about 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's about 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Unbelievable story. Definitely worth seeing if you get a chance.
Thank you. We're always looking. You have Netflix too, right?
No, we just go there. We just watch regular. We have cable, we have direct TV. So.
Okay, because if you have Netflix, there's things that start.
She wanted starting out,
I give her a note.
but she wants a lot slower.
Yeah.
Hi.
Did you celebrate a good birthday week?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Oh, good.
What about you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I heard from all the kids, all the grandkids, friends from all over the world. That to me, that's
Great.
really great. Yeah.
Great.
Marshall, what's the best chord to take? The one on the top or the one on the bottom?
What? Oh, we're playing it in bottom key.
Is it the first song we're doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't play brother.
Yeah, we're playing the bottom key, C minor.
Because sometimes the top even worked.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, the third bar sounded weird with an A flat. I don't know.
Hey, we didn't write these things, man. We're just playing them.
I like how you think.
If Carol was here, every time you made a mistake, you had to over a buck.
You had to owe her a buck pretty soon. You were playing for free.
Exactly.
I like that. And you know, we said they paid by juniors. No, not giving money. Excuse me.
Yeah, right.
Come in and
We'll figure this out.
this gig will be worth like half a ring or brooch or whatever.
How's he doing? You see him? Is he playing Jesus Christ?
Kent? No.
He just stays home.
Yeah. He started Jesus Christ.
I remember. Yeah, that's what killed you guys in your money.
Nice to see you. I'm good. How are you? I have to ask Marshall one question, but
Well, I was still teaching because I retired last year, so I was still making money. 6 years or so. Well, but now I'm just down to one free time instead of two. Play. We had 28 events this month. Wow. 26 next month.
Where?
All over the place. I'm here at least once a week at some place. Play at the clinic 4 times a week.
All good. All good. Thank you.
Nursing home
Hey,
60
Marshall.
cars. I got 11 of those this month. $80 for an hour. Yes.
I gotta check a rhythm with you. Hold on.
So there, and then I do piano practice.
Stay here. Suzanne, hope you had a nice birthday. Thank you very much. Wonderful. So. Yeah. Okay, so after this, I know we're to cut tonight, right? But is there something that I'm doing wrong here, or
No, well, we're just not doing any of it. Essentially, this is like
yeah, I know, but I'm
we're
keeping
not
it
really
simple.
right. You didn't do that here, so we're not doing it there.
Right, so I'm doing more soulful here, and then here I'm going da 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 da. What? Da 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 da. Right?
Right, that's what you said.
Oh, okay.
I just followed you. I thought we were going to go, because it says tech time
Right.
at 69, which is half of 38. So we're not doing it. We're just, I mean, we're actually doing what it says, except that there's no because he's got halftime at blah, 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 and it ends up being the same student as blah, blah, blah. Because 69 times 2 is
138.
so it doesn't really change.
I actually need to add some subtract.
Well, we don't need it.
Well, actually, not just 19 and
The same. And so, do you have a nice time in there?
hi.
And you came back a day early, which was smart, because yesterday was.
We were set to come back today, and
Oh,
United
you
said
might not
we
have,
should.
they might have not had you land there. They were somewhere
We
else.
saw it, plane lands right now.
Well, that's okay. You're a day ahead. I play all kinds of.
No, what tune is that? You come on, singing?
No.
Come on, I'm close.
I don't even know.
Come on, seriously?
I have no idea what you're singing.
focus. You did that this episode.
Yeah, I'm not. I go like in and out of phases of being active.
Well, look at the shoulders and the arms.
Thanks, you look great too.
Oh, thank you. I'm old, but I'm trying.
You still look good.
No. My, oh, thank you. No.
The mic's on my phone.
Okay, everybody, we ready?
Please hold. Please hold. Let me just get the page.
Okay, Marcia.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי הגיון מכינור. מצוות שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
It is so wonderful to see you, truly see you, and hopefully hear you as well throughout this wonderful Nefesh Shabbat service. Hopefully the Nefesh, as it says in its title, is soulful and approachable, and hopefully we can connect through the music, our liturgy, of course, the words in our Sidurim. I hope that everybody was able to get not only a Sidur when they came in, but also a song sheet as well. So please join us in the singing. Tonight, our Rabbi Klein is leading a talk for Apollo's Fire's performance of Israel in Egypt. So he is not with us, right? But we will miss him just tonight. And more importantly, he will miss all of us. Tonight, I ask that we begin our service, mizmor shir, mizmor, a tune, to sing, a chanting, a song, to bring in the Shabbat, Shabbat is our opportunity to rest, relax, but also rejoice in being together, warm in this slightly chilly weather. So I hope you'll join us in all of our blessings. We continue our service with Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Page 24.
And the handouts. Thank you. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let us light these lights for the world tonight. Let our hearts unite in the light, in the light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. L'chadlik ner shel Shabbat. L'chadlik ner shel Shabbat. Let us light these lights for the world tonight. Let our hearts unite in the light, 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 in the light.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we have light. And not only do we have the light of Shabbat, we are about to sing yet another song called Lechadudi, which is a song that was written by a rabbi by the name of Shlomo Alkabetz, who lived in the 16th century. He was born in Thessaloniki and moved to Safed, to the land of Israel. And it's a very special song that welcomes the Sabbath bride. Now, a few words about this song. This piyut that ended up in our Siddur welcoming the Sabbath bride. You know how it is we welcome a bride? We welcome someone who's entering into our lives. The song starts with welcoming the bride. It continues with emerging out of crisis, emerging out of privation, emerging out of failure and of defeat, onto confidence, onto joy, and then finally onto redemption. We start out with a bride, and we end with redemption. How is it that we start with welcoming a bride, going through this whole journey, and ending with redemption? When we welcome the bride, we welcome the bride. We don't just welcome someone we love. We welcome the future. And the future is unknown. The welcoming of the bride is an act of hope and of faith that is at the very core of Shabbat. The welcoming of the bride, the welcoming of the unknown future, the hope in the future is what Shabbat is about. And that is why, towards the end of that piyut, traditional Jews stand up, turn towards the door, and bow down to welcome the unknown. That bride, that person who would become the spouse, that person who would signal a new chapter in our lives, the person who signals hope, the person who represents a glimmer of wholeness, of joy, of redemption. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Lecha Dodi.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 lekat kala, ya la 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 bnei Shabbat, bnei Shabbat lecha bela, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 lekat kala, ya la 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 bnei Shabbat, bnei Shabbat. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת Shabbat, bnei Shabbat nekab elai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 lekat kala, ya la 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 bnei Shabbat, bnei Shabbat nekab elai. Likrat Shabbat ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 lekat kala, ya la 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 bnei Shabbat, bnei Shabbat nekab elai, ya la 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 בשלום, עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 בני שבת נקרב אליי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 בני שבת נקרב.
On page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ma'ariv aravi.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Baruch Shem
Please be seated and welcome Jack Spiro to lead us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi midzavecha hayom alevavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha, b'veitecha, uvlechtecha havaderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu totafot b'neinecha, Uchtavtam amizizot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol misvotai vihitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you, John. We continue with our song for redemption on page 40. Who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Adonai, ya-na-na-na, ya-na-na-na-na, 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 ya-na-na-na-na. Who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Adonai, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. As we continue our service with the Amidah, Amidah comes from the word la'amod, to stand, to rise. Our liturgy is not only about our words, the words are very important, and the nigun, how we chant it, but also how our body participates. When we rise for the Amidah, we are not just rising for the sake of standing, but we're also rising for what we believe in, for what is important to us. It is our physical way of saying what our feet are prepared to do for our beliefs. And it is only fitting that our Amidah begins with, open up our lips. Tiftach et tzfatai, my lips. And then we recall our forefathers and our foremothers. So not only are we thinking about our future, we're not just thinking about where we are going, our beliefs, and moving forward with those beliefs, but who came before us and how we got here. So it's a trajectory. It is both our past, it is certainly our present, it is this moment as we rise, and it is how we think forward. So with that kavanah, with that intentionality, I invite you all to please rise if you are able and join us on page 46.
Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחייך כל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי הכה ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומחיים אמונתו לישני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומדום מלך מנהיג ומחיי ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Please be seated. Turning to page 61, I invite you to please read with me. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amach tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amach tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. טוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. We continue silently. יהיו לרצון עם רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון עם רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון עם רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון עם רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון עם רפים I spent some time helping a friend prepare for a job interview this week. We went over his resume and crafted answers that accurately described his best qualities. And it was easy for me to remind him of his strongest abilities because he's great at what he does. And later, as I reflected upon our conversation and thought back to our dialogue, I contemplated to myself how strange a job interview is. We sit down in front of one or several individuals, are grilled with questions that we're supposed to answer honestly in hopes of seeing if we're a good fit. Like many of you, I have spoken to people of varying ages who are preparing to interview for a job and very often find that they are more easily able to articulate the places where they have difficulty in their jobs rather than speak about their strengths. And in a job interview, they do everything they can to show the best version of themselves and leave their challenges out of the conversation when possible. And this got me thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if we went into a job interview and shared the most vulnerable part of ourselves? Yes, I would like this position. I am incredibly disorganized. I often forget to follow through. I loathe collaborating, and frankly would prefer never to be spoken to by anyone, ever. Am I a good match? That's the kind of rabbi we need here, am I right? Of course, I'm exaggerating. Nevertheless, wouldn't it be more candid to think about our opportunities for growth as individuals and as a company or organization when bringing people aboard? In this way, we can reflect on our personal development and foster relationships based on strength that build one another. In this week's Torah portion, Ki Tisa, Moses, Aaron, and the Israelites are in the biggest interview they've ever had. An interview to see if they are a good match to join in covenant with a God. And this evening, I'd like to suggest that when we deliberately remove or forget to incorporate our vulnerabilities and aren't transparent about our faults, we're no longer a whole person and cannot perform any of our duties well, not in our jobs, not in our lives, in our families, or in our communities. The Israelites have been traversing the wilderness and forming a new connection with the God that saved them from slavery in Egypt. This portion opens with Moses at the top of Mount Sinai, receiving instructions from God. Moses is up there for 40 days, and the people down below are starting to get worried. Is everything okay? What is he doing up there? We're losing faith here. The people become desperate, seeking hope and safety in their dubious wilderness experience. So they turn to Aaron, looking for direction, and he is unable to answer many of their questions. The Torah doesn't tell us what Aaron was thinking or feeling in that moment, but we can imagine that out of panic or concern or even fear of the crowd, he finds a way to calm them by collecting gold jewelry from the people in order to create a molten calf that he will present as a new god or idol for worship. God, the real God, who is still deliberating with Moses, tells him to climb down the mountain and deal with the stiff-necked Kshe Oref people, the Israelites, right? Kshe Oref, we know this term from our Yom Kippur liturgy. And so while negotiating with God to keep the Israelites alive, running down the mountain, Moses, with the newly written 2 tablets in his arms, became enraged when he reached the bottom and hurled the tablets in his hand to the ground, where they shattered at the foot of the mountain. He then takes the golden calf the Israelites made, burnt it, and ground it into powder. This is a very difficult moment for the Israelites, and an even more challenging one for Moses and Aaron. In these 20 or so verses, we learn how these 2 leaders handle this pivotal moment and guide their people forward. Aaron was prone to pressure from the people and denies responsibility for making the golden calf. He blames the people. He says, "V'yitnu li v'ashlachehu be'esh v'yetzeh egel hazeh." They said to me, "Make us a god to lead us. For the fellow Moses, this guy, the man who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what happened to him." So I said to them, "Whoever has gold, take it off." They gave it to me. I hurled it into the fire, and out came this calf. Aaron is clearly in total denial. He says, "They gave me this gold. I threw it into the fire. Poof, out came a golden calf." And this, by the way, this denial is the same thing we see in Genesis, in the Adam and Eve story with the apple, where Adam blames Eve. Eve blames the servant. "It wasn't me. I'm innocent. I'm a victim. Blame the other." And so brushing off the blame on anyone, especially as a leader, is a collapse in principle. But Moses also has his trials. When trying to restore order, he comes running down the mountain, and when he sees what's happening, smashes the 2 tablets on the ground and grinds the golden calf to dust. And following this incident, Moses also kills the people that defied God on that day. And he's seen as a hero. But this is a brutal act of force and consequence for the Israelites' misstep. So, what can be gleaned from these 2 people who each had their own failings? The first is that there are different ways in which we participate and function in certain settings. We don't all need to do things in the same way in order to get a job done. Some have the courage to stand against a crowd and lead them forward, while others are peacemakers. Secondly, we know that Moses and Aaron complemented each other with their different skill sets. It's best to do our work in collaboration and rely on the talents of those around us. And lastly, I'd like to suggest that perhaps these 2 individuals weren't supported in the way that they needed to be. What if Moses left Aaron on the bottom of the mountain with someone who was good at calming the people down in moments of strife? Or what if someone met Moses halfway up the mountain, warning him of what he was about to see, so that maybe he wouldn't have been so enraged when he got to the foot of Mount Sinai? These suggestions are hyperbole, of course. We can't change our Torah text, but we can use Midrash to help us think about this story differently. But how would this story and many moments in our lives change if we lean into our weakness and vulnerabilities and hold each other up in those places, rather than try to present a perfect version of ourselves all the time? We can't reach our full potential when we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves and those around us. There's a midrash from Bava Batra that offers a profound notions about this moment in Torah. When Moses breaks the first set of tablets, God forgives the Israelites and eventually provides Moses with another set of tablets. But what of those original tablets, the ones that were broken? Rabbinic tradition says that the broken tablets should be put into the Ark of the Covenant along with the whole ones, because our failure is at the heart of our relationship with God. Our failure is what makes us whole. It is the catalyst to our learning, our growth, our reason to get up in the morning, our raison d'être. It's our opportunity to reconcile and mend what is not whole. It is how we repair relationships, provides openness to learn about others, build bridges for peace, rid ourselves of hatred because of ignorance, and an opportunity to be honest and face ourselves for who we really are. Our incomplete, partial, unfinished part of ourselves is a path to redemption. Let us have the courage to lead with our hearts exposed and interact with the world with our whole selves. Shabbat Shalom. With the words of Torah in our hearts, we continue with a song that helps elevate these ideas for this evening.
If I am not for myself, then who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? What am I? And if not now, when? If not now, when? Im ein ani li mi li, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני? אם אין אני לי מי לי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני? ואם לא עכשיו, אם לא עכשיו, אם לא עכשיו, אם אין אני לי מי לי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני? אם אין אני לי מי לי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני? If I am not for myself, then who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? What am I? What am I?
At this time, our hearts turn to those who need healing of the body, mind, soul, or spirit. If you are at this time thinking of someone who needs healing, I invite you to please say their name aloud if you are comfortable, as my hand reaches you.
Kenneth Gordon, Alice Mark, Ed Hershey.
To those names, we add Jackie Acho, Adriana Contino, Amelia Hegarty, Maddie Jefferson, Byron Krantz, Richard Moore, Bob Shippey, Zella Terry, Michael Wolf, Shulamit Bat Avraham Ubat Sheva. We continue with a tefillah for healing, a prayer for healing with the Misha Berach on page 253.
שברח אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
At this time in our service, our minds turn to those on whose shoulders we stand, to those who have made us who we are, to those who have left us a legacy of love, of blessing, to those who are with us day and night. Our minds at this time especially turn to those whom we have laid to rest within this last week, for whom we are in the period of Shiva: Albert M. Miller and Harriet Zellman. We also take into our hearts those who were laid to rest in the last 30 days, for whom we are in Shloshim: Adele Bernstein, Bruce Buck E. Bressler, Herb Hopkins, Miriam C. Edelstein, Dr. Deborah J. Corman, Daniel J. Roth, Jack B. Shapiro, Stephanie Axner, Eileen K. Davis, Elisabetta Genikovic, Robert Isroff, Carl Henry Klaus, Dr. Alan Miller, Suzanne Gold, Carol May Kronik, and Norman H. Siegel. We take into our hearts those whose yahrzeits occur at this time: Lenore S. Amster, Madeline H. Baker, Evelyn Weidenthal Blum, Alfred M. Bonhard, Beatrice Dykes Cohen, Wendy Jo Dannenhirsch, Arthur Datelbach, Max Duchamp, Scott A. Duvin, Esther Fisher, Carrie Heitler Friedheim, Nelson Friedman, Peter L. Galvin, Bernice B. Gans, David Ralph Hertz, Hyman H. Hill, Henry H. Hirsch, Betty G. Holstein, Simon A. Hollander, Bernard A. Hubschman, Stanley S. Keller, Jerome Kimmelman, Edith R. Kyman, Maynard C. Lee, Sam Levine, Lieutenant Earl M. Lieberman, Harry Loeb, Isidore Loshbin, Leroy F. Lustig, Katie Mandelkorn, Fanny Markman, Charles A. Melcher, Dr. Morton Morgenstern, Kim Penn, Anna G. Rader, Henry C. Richmond, Sadie A. Rigelhaupt, Rose Bubis Roscoff, Lenore S. Roth, Gabriel Schaffner, Hattie Schwartz, Samuel Schwartz, J. Carl Silverberg, Robert Stone, David Stromberg, Norman A. Sugarman, Jane Ellen Udelf, Meyer Weil, Kenneth G. Weinberg, Dr. Sidney D. Weissman, Blanche Wiener, Jesse B. Wall, Sidney S. Wolf, Frank Wooliger, Eugene M. Zeidman, and Dorothy Camberg-Zipp. If at this time you are mourning someone whose name has not just been read off this list, or if I mispronounced any of the names on this list, I invite you to utter these names now, that we may recite the Kaddish in their honor together. If at this time you are mourning the loss of a loved one who has just been laid to rest within this last week, if you are within the Shiva period, I invite you now to please rise. If you are mourning a loved one who has been laid to rest within the last 30 days, for whom we are within the Shloshim, I invite you now to please rise. If you are marking a yahrzeit at this time, I invite you now to please rise. And now, as a caring congregation, let us all rise together and let us turn to the words of the Kaddish. The Kaddish may be found on page 294, and I invite you to please join me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash mei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen, yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ul'olmei olmaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. May the source of peace and comfort send peace and comfort to us and to all who mourn. And let us together say, Amen. You may be seated. It has become our custom recently, relatively recently, to turn from these moments of memory to moments of joy and celebration and achievement, to moments that merit the Shehecheyanu. And we have a number of items that we want to mention today and that we want to celebrate. First of all, we want to wish our own Suzanne Utley a happy birthday. Suzanne celebrated a milestone birthday, I'm not going to say which one, a milestone birthday recently on February 6th. Suzanne, happy birthday to you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov to you, and many, many more, to 120, many, many more years to come. Joan Eigner will be turning 91 years old tomorrow, this Shabbat, Saturday, February 19th. Mazel tov, mazel tov,
Happy
mazel
birthday,
tov.
Joan.
How special. Is that
Beautiful.
remarkable,
Amen.
right? Our member, Ivy Berlin, Ivy attends the Brady Middle School, and she has been selected as the 6th grade winner in the 2022 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Art, Writing, and Multimedia Contest that is sponsored by the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. That's quite remarkable. The contest is intended to encourage students to reflect upon King's life, philosophy, and impact on the civil rights movement and present-day America. Ivy is the daughter of Melissa and Grant Berlin and is the granddaughter of Sandy and Richard Lefkowitz and Marsha and Murray Berlin. And we wish her a hearty, wonderful Mazel Tov and many, many more achievements to come. That is a promising young person. How remarkable, how wonderful to celebrate that in our midst. And Harriet and Bert Siebert. Harriet and Bert, where are they?
They're right in the
Oh,
background.
they're right here. Yeah, Harriet and Bert, because I saw you earlier. Mazel tov to you. Harriet and Bert celebrated their 66th wedding anniversary on January 22nd.
Mazel tov.
How magnificent, how wonderful. Mazel tov to you. Any other Shechianu moments? Anything else? Mike. Ben Lewin made Dean's List in Macalester College. How
Mazel
wonderful. How terrific.
Fabulous.
Wonderful. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Anyone else? Any other Shechianu moments?
Which one? Tell us.
There's a local artist who got their first really big commission and is like going to make work for our community.
Can we mention the name of the artist? It's you. Dana, good friend.
Dana, thank you so much, and
Mazel
Mazel
tov.
tov.
You had a piece commissioned? 7 pieces. Oh my goodness, we can't wait to see your beautiful artwork. Mazel tov to you, Dana. Wow.
How wonderful. Mazel tov to you, Dana, and many, many more to come. Yishal koach. Well, I think this deserves a Shechianu.
I think you're right. Let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Amen and Mazel tov to everyone. I think we are going to almost end our service before the Kiddush and the Motzi with our final song, our very own Jay Singer's Adon Olam. Is that right?
It is right,
is.
Rabbi.
Okay.
How many verses would you like tonight, Rabbi?
No pressure.
Pick a number. Okay, we'll do 3.
We'll do 3.
How about 3?
We'll do 3.
Let's do 3 verses. Are you ready, Marshall? Here we go. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Come on, you know the words. La 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 la. Adon olam, Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'et nasa. Also, our wonderful musicians.
We should thank our
I have to
wonderful
thank them.
musicians.
I want to thank Scott Spiro and Marshall Griffith and Josh Sebo and Steve Gordon and Mary Beth Ions, who had to leave early because she is playing in a production down at Playhouse Square. Wonderful. If you know what production I'm talking about with the violins and the boxes up top, that's where she is. So, and thank you to Jack Spiro.
Yes, thank you to Jack Spiro.
So beautiful. Thank you, Jack.
And I'm going to thank in advance all the children who are about to come up here and help me out with the Kiddush and the Motzi along with Blaze. Anyone want to come up? Anyone want to come up?
All right. Well, let's join together then in the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'yiratavanu v'shamal kodesho b'yahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh zeicher l'tziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uv'ratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Oh,
That good, huh,
what did you
Rabbi?
have tonight? What was it?
Scotch.
Manischewitz? What? Okay.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's okay. Let's join in the blessing for the challah. Come on, come on. It's all good. It's all good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen.
Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Let us go forth this Shabbat, holding in our ark the broken tablets along with the whole, the broken promises along with those kept, the failings along with the strengths, that we may repair our world together. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah, Hava, Hava Nashira, 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 Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
this mine?
No,
Wow, that's very strange.
but it doesn't have tape on it. Looks identical to yours.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was there,
It's
so
broken.
I used it.
That's fine, it's broken. I don't ever want you to do that again,
Okay.
right? We bring power for a reason. I don't want to use house power.
Okay.
There's 3 wires sticking out of here. Right here.
Oh, it's pulled out.
Yeah. That's why I don't like using house power, because it gets destroyed. Any house you go into, it's not just here. Any house you go into, you have to expect that your stuff's not gonna work.
Those microphones just picked you up, if you need to know that.
I do know that.
Okay.
I plugged them in. You heard it pop, right? All right, you're free.
10-4. It's going nice tonight. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't know. The setups in both rooms are going okay. I don't know if this is any easier than the other room.
You know why it's easier?
Why?
Everything's a little shorter. We're not
Correct.
taking that extra 4 steps on
On
everything,
every single one. Okay, so that's one thing. You're right about that.
right? I'm in the same spot. I'm
We're
gonna
not
get
pushing uphill and downhill, right?
That's huge.
Which I think that saves 5 minutes.
Probably more than that, you know, especially on the way out.
No, it's not more than that.
There's
Think about
also
it,
walking over there.
right?
Yeah. You know, and the walk over there, it's shorter to get here than it is just to get to the doors over there.
I think so.
You know, and we're constantly going around the back. There's lavatories right here. I mean, this is much, a few minutes adds up really quick. Besides, it sounds better in here. There is a weird
I don't think it sounds better in here.
echo. It's definitely got a warmth, Reach.
Well, it has a warmth, but I don't think that it sounds better because it's just random sounding better. This room is a big basketball,
Yeah.
and it's got a goofy ass echo.
It does, I can hear it.
So to make it sound good in every seat in the house is nearly impossible.
Okay.
The only reason these guys like it is because they're sitting right in front of a speaker. I don't even think they need monitors in here. You know what I mean?
Probably don't.
I mean, they're sitting right, both speakers are aimed right at the band. So, it's, in some ways it's easier, but in other ways it's not. Mixing wise, it's not. Okay, what do I gotta take to the other room? Microphone. This is mine. Yes.
There's 3 in here.
I don't care. If you didn't mark and you don't know, then the K&Ms are mine, because these are Griffin. These are cheap BS stands. So you have to learn to tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones.
No, I know that that's a K&M.
And tell the difference
I know
between
that.
what we bring and what the house has. The K&M did? Are you 100% positive? Take the mic clip down, because you must have switched.
I swapped the clips because.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't, look,
Yeah,
I don't want to belabor any point.
No.
Even though I do. I don't want to.
You and I are the
But
same
it's
way.
So, you know how much these are?
Oh, those gotta be 30, 40 bucks. Or
They are.
Yeah.
They're $35 a piece.
And that's the good one, right?
The good one. And I just ordered 10 more of them.
This one.
Okay, if you're saying so, I believe you.
Yeah, no, I know that you
But
do.
I
There's
just-
no question, but I understand your, we'll call it a redundancy.
Yes.
I respect that because that keeps parts.
Right on.
You know,
All
I
right.
know you lost something a year ago, that little gooseneck.
We didn't lose
drum.
it. We didn't lose it. It's here.
It's killing me, I'm hunting for it. I
Well,
can't,
it's in the shop.
it may be.
No, it's in the shop.
Well,
And by the way, John, I have two of them.
like
I
that?
have two exactly the same. Yep.
Okay. Hey, don't forget, two short, mic stands for amps. If you're ordering stuff and you can afford it,
You know what? I have 10 short mic stands. I got them. They're in the shop.
why don't we just remember to rifle through and get them? Just,
If I order them, it's $65, $75 a piece.
I don't wanna do that.
Right?
No,
So-
cause that's
I
already,
know there's 10 of them in the shop.
that turns into $150. Shipping,
said there were 3 in the
There
room,
were.
and these are the 3 that were in the
Those are
room.
the 3. Thank you. You're the man. That just saved me a